Head over to Google Analytics. Just do a simple web search or a Google search for Google Analytics. And what you want to do is you want to install this onto your website. This is so you can understand the customer's journey, okay? You will get a lot of insight just looking at this alone, and you can make a lot of good business decisions with what you see. For example, you'll know exactly where most of your traffic is coming from. Is it coming from the search engines? Is it coming from social media? Is it referral traffic? You're going to know that. Number two, you're also going to know how many pages they're visiting, okay? So out of every visitor, are they visiting, and it's called a bounce rate. So for instance, if you have a 90% bounce rate, that means 90% of your visitors are leaving or quote unquote bouncing off of your website, without even visiting another page. So the higher your bounce rate is, the worse that metric is for you, because you want to have a low bounce rate. So for instance, you would want, let's say 20%. That's really low, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's say your business had a 20% bounce rate. That means 80% of your visitors are visiting more than one page, okay? So it'll give you that type of intelligence. It will also give you how long that they're on your site. You'll see that people coming from social media are on your site tremendously and significantly shorter than people coming from from Google, from the search engines, okay? That's where your best traffic is going to be. If you're a local business, it's going to be in the search engines, okay? So the first thing you want to do when you're after you've done all of your keyword research is let's start setting up your website to gather as much intelligence as we possibly can. So the first thing you need to do is get Google Analytics, okay? Now, the second thing you want to end up doing is you want to get Google Search Console. Now, this is different from Analytics. Analytics shows you what your visitors are doing, where they're coming from, where they're going to, how long they've been on your page, how many pages they visited. It gives you that type of information. Google Search Console basically tells you everything you need to do to your website to fix it so that Google can properly display your website to the people who are looking for your product or your service, okay? So they will let you know if you're having link issues, if you have broken links, if your site maps and everything technical that you need to make sure that your website itself is running at a tip-top shape. That's what Google Search Console does, okay? Now, the next thing you want to do is register for Google My Business. Google My Business is your social media of Google. If you do not have a Google My Business profile, you will not get into the map pack, which is this. This is where you want to be. And if you click on her name, okay, Libby, you will see, it brings up her actual listing. This is her Google My Business listing because she went over to Google My Business and she started one, and it's free. And all you have to do with all of these, in fact, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Google My Business, step by step, just follow the instructions and everything will be set up, okay? But it's extremely important you get your Google My Business signed up and get it taken care of and into the search engines, because you will now be in front of everybody who's looking for you just with this profile alone, okay? So that's the thing that you want to do, is get your Google My Business profile, all right? Then next, what you want to end up doing is make sure that your website is secure. So what do I mean by that? You see how she has this little little padlock, and I can click on it and it shows that it's secure. Okay, a site that is not secure, it will literally say not secure. All right, we need to make sure that your site is secure. Now, if there's two ways that you can get an SSL, there's the paid way and the free way. All right, obviously the free way is going to be a little bit more time consuming and more technical to set up, but it is significantly cheaper. Okay, so let's say you want to go the free way, you just go to Cloudflare. Okay, just go to Cloudflare, sign up for Cloudflare, and follow instructions, and then you go in there and tell it that you want everything to be HTTPS. There is a section in there that you can select it make sure you do that, okay? If you just want the fastest, easiest way to do it without all the technical setup, let's say you bought your domain at GoDaddy. It's very simple. All you have to do is go to the SSL and buy one, okay? So this one is $64 a year, and this is really the only one that you need unless you are, running a lot of traffic with a ton of transactions and high value transactions. But other than that, the $64 a year is simple. And if you bought your website, not your website, your domain, and we're just use GoDaddy for instance. Let's say you got it at GoDaddy and you go ahead and you buy this, it installs for you. Again, you just follow a couple steps and it's done. It's fast and it's quick. So those are your two options. You can go Cloudflare, the freeway, but that's technical. There's a lot of technical know-how, and it's time-consuming. It takes several minutes to do. And when I mean several minutes, versus this, which is a couple clicks, this one will take you at least half hour, an hour, especially if you don't know what you're doing, okay? So those are the two things that you want to end up doing, or one of the two things you want to do in order to secure your website, okay? Next, what you want to do is make sure that you have... which one do you have, a www or non-www? Because if you have both of them, for instance, this one is a non-www. If you had www dot, right, and both the www and the non-www were indexed into Google, you would now have two websites on Google, and you can get penalized for that, okay? Which means that Google, you're in danger of getting both websites taken out of Google, which just defeats the whole purpose of doing all of this in the first place, okay? So let me see if she has her redirect, okay? And this is what I mean by redirect. One has to go to the other. So for instance, as we already know, her website does not have www. So now I'm putting www in here. Now, when I hit enter, if it goes to www.libby'spowerwashing.com, then she has two websites indexed, and one of them has to be taken out, okay? If she's done this correctly, then this www goes away, and it just remains Libby's Power Washing. So let's see. And it's taking a second to load, which I don't know why. Okay, and it's www, and it hasn't loaded yet. It hasn't even gone anywhere yet. So, and it's starting to move. There we go. Now look, you see? She did it right. The www is not in there. It's taken out, which means it's redirected. The www site went to the non-www site, okay? I always prefer non-www. It makes it shorter. It's easier. It's unnecessary to put www in there, but you can have either which way. And in order to redirect it, this is what you would have to put on your actual, what's called an htaccess file, which is on your web host, okay? So you would just literally copy this, and this, your domain obviously would be your domain, right? So what you're doing is you are now redirecting the www URLs to non-www, and this is what it's telling it, okay? So you would put www, let's say it's already at www, or you haven't done this, and you just want everything to go straight to the raw domain, which was what I recommend. You would put in www.whateveryourdomain.com, and then down here, keep all of this the same, except make sure if you're secure, that has an S here. Keep all this the same, except, and now you would just put yourdomain.com and then keep this $1, okay, and this right here. So you would just take all of this, copy it, and then just drop in your domain here, and you put that into your hosting, and it is done. You will automatically are now redirecting from one to the other, okay? Now, another is you need a XML Site Map. Now, what is a site map? So, for instance, this is how Google knows what pages are on your website. So, let me go back to Libby, right? And it's very simple. Usually, they're on Site Map. So, if you type in sitemap.xml, usually that is the default for every website, and there we go. That is what a sitemap looks like, okay? So, it is just telling Google that these are all the different categories, okay? And underneath these categories, I have pages. So we'll click on this, and here are the pages. And I want all of these pages, okay, indexed into Google. All right. So that's all that means. That's what this XML sitemap is. And in order to create one, it's very simple. If you don't have one, just go to your website and do exactly what I just did. Just put in, sitemap that one is page.sitemap. But sitemap.xml, if it has something different, it should redirect like this one did. But sitemap.xml to see if you have one. If you don't, it's very simple. Just put in your website URL, hit start, and it's automatically going to give you a sitemap. And all you need to do is just take that and upload that and put that into your website, okay? Into the website. It's called the head section of your website. You also want friendly URLs, okay? And now my favorite thing to find this out is called Screaming Frog. It's free. You download and you install it onto your machine, okay? Now, this is what it looks like right here once it's downloaded. I already put Libby's in here. This would be empty and you would have just hit start. Now, don't worry about these WPs. If you're on WordPress, you're going to see a lot of WP dashes. All of those you can ignore. What we want to do is just look at the actual URLs that visitors are actually going to, okay? So that's the home page, and as you see right here, this is really good because it's just about us. Very clean, and that's what we mean by SEO friendly URLs. This one, blog, our services. It wouldn't say our services for everything power wash related, right? So our dash services dash everything dash power dash yada yada yada. That's not very friendly, okay? So just say our services right here. Notice gallery right here. Commercial power washing. It doesn't say commercial power washing dash Virginia Beach dash with all the neighboring cities. It just says commercial power washing. All right. Contact. Residential power washing. Customer testimonials. Environmental power washing. You see, these are keywords. Remember the keywords list that we did in step 1 right here. 1, 2, 3, right? That's a this is a keyword search phrase, environmental power washing. All right. So that's what you want to do. Make sure that you have all of your, all of your URLs are SEO friendly. Okay. And then next is schema. Now, all schema is, the only thing you need to understand is just a language that all the search engines understand, and you put it on your website, all right? So this is how you do it. You go to Technical SEO right here, Tools, Schema-Markup-Generator, all right? Now, once this is done, you will click here. After you click here, come down to Local Business. Now, if your local business or type is in here, let's say internet cafe or it's medical, real estate agent, anything like that, select that. But if it's not there, leave it local business, all right? And it's very, very simple to do from this point on. This won't do anything. Leave that alone, okay? This right here, you would just put your name. So, power washer, right? Whatever the name of the company is. Look, it automatically put it in here for you. Then an image URL. You get, so for instance, if I go to Libby's Power Washing, let me get off of the site map. Okay, so if I go back to her site and I just right click on her logo, right? I right click and it'll say open image in new tab. All right, now what it does, that's her logo. So you take it, you copy this, you go to your right here and the image URL, boom, you see, already popped in there. Then here is your actual site itself. So you would take this and you would put that in. All right, there you go. It's all self-explanatory. You just fill these out and it'll automatically spit the code out for you on the side. And then once you're done, you take it and then you copy it and then you drop it into the head section of code of your website. Now what you need to do is you actually need to test it. So what you do is this. You come here to validator.schema.org, okay? And you grab the URL of your website. And you come back here and you paste it in and you run the test. Now, after you run the test, there we go. Remember all of that code? Okay, this is actually in her website. But all of this code here was dropped in. Was dropped in over here, okay? And it pulled it out, and this is what it is. You see, so URL, name, description. You see the description of what our business is. This is very, very important when it comes to local search engine traffic, okay? So that is your schema. And then the very last thing to do is you want to test your website to see how fast it is, because loading page is an algorithm point that Google uses, okay? It is a signal, an algorithm signal, or a signal in their algorithm that they use to determine what websites are going to rank. And remember, Google is a business. They want to give us, the user, the best experience possible. So if we start clicking on websites that have broken links and they have broken images and they load very slow, it's not very good for us, the user, right? So which means if we get a lot of that, we're probably going to go to Google's competition, and they don't want that, right? So they want these websites that are value packed, that give the user exactly what they want, that load fast and has a great user experience, okay? So what you want to do is come here to GTmetrix, right? It's just gtmetrix.com, and you want to put it in the website address, and then you hit test your site. Now, this takes about a minute or so. So to save time, I've already done it, and this is what is going to come out. Okay. Anything with a B and above is perfect. All right. And anywhere that you need attention is going to show you. All right. So you just click down here, and it tells you exactly what to put into your actual website in order to take the stuff out, or not take it out. What I meant, some scripts need to be taken out, but this tells you how to modify it, do different things. If my favorite one is the waterfall, because it shows you literally what is taking the longest to load. So this one right here, it seems like Maps G-Static, they have some type of icon. That's what it says, icon. That's really big and is taking some time to load. You can look at all of this stuff right here, and it shows what's being taken forever to load. And these are the things that you can actually fix, okay? And of course, there's a little bit more technical stuff to go into on-site optimization, such as, broken links and internal linking and things like that. But I just want to leave you with the actual basis that you need to do. When you do this correctly and you take care of what you need to take care of, you will see, a significant difference inside your website rankings.